Hi, welcome back to Cooking with Mama Bear. If you're new, thanks so much for coming. Today we're going to make cinnamon rolls, and we're going to use quick bread instead of yeast bread. So I'll explain that a little bit later on. We get started, and the bonus today is I'm going to show you how to make, what is that stuff called? Cinnamon sugar. Yes, I'm going to show you how to make cinnamon sugar and how to cut them professionally so they don't squish you down. So before we begin, make sure you wash your hands with hot soapy water for 20 seconds. And if you're under the age of 18, make sure you ask your parent or guardian, can you cook in the kitchen? Because once they say yes, then you can cook in the kitchen. Let's go. Let's get started. I have my bowl here, and I'm going to use a mix called Jiffy Mix. There's another mix company called Bisquick, but I like Jiffy Mix because it's not as salty, so I like to use this. So you need 2 cups of the Jiffy Mix powder. So I am just going to gently pour this in my bowl. It's kind of lumpy a little bit, but that's okay. This looks about, come on, okay, of course it spills up. Okay, so there's one. And I'm not going to level this off. I could, but I'm just kind of guesstimating. Okay, that looks good too. I need milk. Okay, I got the milk. I'm gonna need, because I don't have this memorized, a half a cup. So I have my liquid measuring cup. I'm gonna put it on a flat surface. I'm gonna pour, I always smell my milk to make sure that it's not going bad. You can cook with sour milk, but I want to use fresh milk, and it doesn't smell sour. It smells fine, or it doesn't smell like anything, which is good. So you go down at eye level. Make sure you got a half a cup. Yes. I'm going to put in my secret ingredient. You guys have seen my videos before. It's my vanilla. And I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to pour it right in with my milk, and it's going to really give the dough a nice vanilla flavor. So I'm going to pour that in. I'm just going to stir it a couple of times. Okay, I'm going to pour this milk right into the dough. And then I'm going to use a rubber scraper. You can just use a spoon, but this, I'm just going to use this. So I'm just going to stir this, and it should start getting thick. And then we are just about ready with our dough. Yes, so this is like 10 strokes or 10 stirs. Okay, this looks good. Now, if you're concerned about it being kind of gooey, that's okay, because it'll keep it nice and soft when it comes out of the oven. Take off all jewelry, rings, watches, because this gets really messy. So I have a cutting board here that I'm going to put in the middle here. I'm going to put a little flour down, or a little bit of the mix, or you can just use regular flour. And I'm just going to spread this around to help this not stick as much. So I'm going to turn my dough out, and that means I'm just going to put my dough on the floured surface. And I want to get all of this. That's why I'm using the rubber scraper, so I get all the contents or the goodies out the bowl. So rubber scraper is kind of like your tongue. I know that sounds nasty, but it like gets all the crooks and crevices. Now, you need to knead it about 2 or 3 times. So kneading means I'm going to take the heel of my hand, I'm going to press or stretch my dough a little bit, and then flip it, like, or fold it in half. So first I'm going to flip this. Okay, so first I'm just going to turn this dough over so there's like flour on most of the sides. Okay, so this is not kneading, I'm just getting flour on the dough. Okay, so I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to flip the rest over. So that's 1, 2, 3, I guess I could stretch a little bit, 4, 5. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, you want your dough where it's kind of sticking to your hands. And my hands are clean, but not too much. Okay, so I'm just going to take my hands. I could take a rolling pin, but I'm just going to take my hands. I'm just going to gently flatten it down into a rectangular shape. Oh yeah, that's a little sticky. That's okay. Not too thin though. Can you guys see that it's about a 1/2 inch in diameter or width thickness? And that is probably about at least the width of my pinky, even though my pinky's kind of skinny. Okay, now I have my towel here. I knew this was gonna get dirty, or my hands are gonna get dirty. So now I'm gonna spread some butter on it, and I kind of eyeball this or guesstimate this, but in the recipe I'll give you like a set amount. If it's softened, it's been sitting out for a little bit. So I'm gonna take my butter knife. I don't know, I'm gonna take a tablespoon and I'm gonna see how far this spreads on my dough, hopefully without ripping it. My butter is still a little firm. Of course it is. Okay, so I'm gonna mash this. Oh, I'm preheating my oven, so that's what that sound is. I could use a little bit more, but I'll stop right here. Cause I'm trying to lose a little bit of this. You know what I'm saying? So not too much butter for Mama Bear. Okay, so now I'm gonna make cinnamon sugar. I am gonna take just a little dish, and I have a tablespoon already in here. I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of white sugar. I'm just gonna level this off. 1, 2. And then I'm gonna get some cinnamon. And I'm gonna get 1/4 of a teaspoon. And this is what gives it that nice, rich flavor and texture. I'm just rubbing it on the side of the bowl or the dish or jar that it comes in. And then you stir it up, and pow! There's your cinnamon sugar. I like mine to look kind of dark like this. Some people add less cinnamon and it's more lighter. But it smells so good. Okay, so I am just gonna take my little spoon. I could use my fingers, and I'm just gonna gently sprinkle this around. I might not end up using all of this. We'll see. Okay, this looks pretty good. Should I use all this? Why not? Should I? Yeah, okay, so it's a little overkill, but that's okay. I'm just spreading it around. Okay, so now how you're going to roll it is you're going to take, remember I was saying make it in a rectangular shape? You're going to roll it where it keeps its length so you can make more rolls. So I'm going to start closest to my body and I'm going to roll away from me. So I'm going to take my fingers and gently like start rolling the dough away from me. Sometimes it gets stuck to the board. So I just use my knife and I just scrape up the part that's kind of sticky. Okay, we're doing pretty good so far. Oh, hold up. The recipe, they've changed this recipe on the box and they said pour some corn syrup on it. Okay, we'll do a little bit. I normally don't do this, but maybe it's gonna make it taste even better, even though I've added a ton of sugar already. I'm gonna get a tablespoon and I'm just gonna drizzle it on there. So it'll be a little extra sugar. So corn syrup is clear, it's like syrup, it's super sweet, it's super sticky too. But it doesn't have a flavor at all. So I'm just gonna drizzle this on. Okay, that's a tablespoon of corn syrup. Okay, I'll be interested to see how this turns out. Maybe it'll make it stickier and gooier. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to roll. I unrolled a little bit, but now I'm rolling it back up. Okay, ta-da, we got a nice little roll here, yes. Okay, now, I'm sorry, my hands get so dirty with this. We're gonna take some thread. And you could use dental floss, but I'd make sure it's not flavored like mint. I guess you could use cinnamon, but I would just use plain, or better yet, just a piece of thread or string, some people call it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I have a piece of string, or thread, it's navy. I was hoping it would show up. People can take a regular knife, and if you do this and you cut it, it presses it down and you don't see that nice little, see that it's all flattened and squished and you don't see that nice cinnamon sugar swirl. So the better option is to go under your dough with your thread and then go in about 1 inch. So I'm gonna lift this up, go in about 1 inch. Then I got my thread under there and I'm just gonna pull my hands towards each other and cross over like this, and then pull and the thread goes through the dough. Ta-da! I get dough on my nose, and then you can see, oh my gosh, you can see the cinnamon swirl spiral. Okay, I am ready for my last step, or one of my last steps before I put it in the oven. So I want to take some cooking spray. I'm getting ready to move, y'all, so I can't find my baking pans. So I found my skillet. I said, I can go in the oven. So I'm going to use this. It is called Improvising or the Getaway. Either way is fine. So I'm going to spray, I spray the bottoms and the sides, and I'm going to take my cinnamon rolls. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to put one in the middle. It doesn't really matter which one. And I just want to make sure that end is kind of pressed in. And I'm going to start in the middle, see that? And then I'm going to go around the edges. I forgot to mention that I use, this is called quick bread, and that means bread that rises, but it doesn't use yeast. And a lot of cinnamon roll recipes have, so I'm going to tuck that in, they use yeast bread. And so this is just another way to make cinnamon rolls when you can't find yeast or you can't use yeast. Like yeast for me gives me migraines, so I can still have a cinnamon roll, but I just can't have the yeast kind. Okay, I've got these, the end pieces always look kind of like, eh. So, but I'm gonna use them up because they still taste good. They're just gonna look kind of ratchet. Puny, small. Okay, we'll say that. That'll be nicer. Okay, this is my first piece that I cut with a knife. So I'm gonna see, oh my gosh, this one, yeah, this one's struggling, honey. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, so I have them all in the pan. That fits pretty good. I'm gonna mash it down just a tiny bit. So they're touching, and if they're touching when they bake, they'll puff up a little bit. But it'll keep them nice and soft around the edges. If there's space in between all the rolls, they get a crunchy edge. And if you like that, good for you. I like them a little softer around the edge. Okay, this is ready to go in the oven. Okay guys, here they are. Aren't they pretty? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, it just came out of the oven. I'm gonna put one on a plate. I have some buttercream that I made a little while ago. And what I'm gonna do is put it in a Ziploc bag, or I'm sorry, zipper bag. And I'm just gonna scoop some of this out into the bag. So, squeeze out a little more air. So I'm squeezing out the air, and then I'm gonna push it all into a corner, and then I'm gonna snip this corner, and this is called Improvising. Some people call it the Getaway. It's okay. I kept it really thick because the heat of the rolls is just going to melt it. So if it's already kind of on the thinner side, it will, it'll just kind of disappear. It'll look shiny, but you won't see the frosting, but you'll taste it. So there will be a card here or here about how to make homemade buttercream frosting. So again, I said I'm moving, so I can't find my regular spatula, so I have the spreader thing. I'm gonna take this roll. Oh yeah, this is pretty. I'm just gonna cut them because they all kind of stuck together. I'm gonna lift this out, I'm gonna put it on my plate. Okay, now I'm gonna get up close so you guys can see this. Okay, oh yeah, it's still steaming. I do not want to drop this. That would be so bad. So I'm just gonna go like, well, I'll go back and forth. We'll see what that looks like. Well, no, I'll go in a circle because I can't make up my mind. Okay, so there's that hot roll getting this smooth and creamy, thick frosting. It's not a super cute decoration, but it'll melt in there and it'll look even better. Okay, so thanks so much for joining me today. Cook with Mama Bear. Don't forget, stay and look while you cook. Bye.